I'm Paul Comfort. Thanks for joining me on this adventure in Alaska, where we started in Anchorage and showed you their wonderful mountain scenery there, up the mountain, down the mountain, how to potentially handle a bear, I'm just guessing, and then also their public transportation system. Then up on the train, the 12-hour train ride, and then here in Fairbanks, where we looked at their brand new public transit facility, talked to their leaders, and showed you how the whole ecosystem up here in Alaska works. Alaska, the last frontier. Well, we arrived last night on the long train ride up from Anchorage to Fairbanks and settled into this beautiful Alaska Heritage House, a bed and breakfast right here in Fairbanks. And the hostess made us feel so welcome. It's a beautiful old antique house with lots of original stuff. Made us an amazing breakfast this morning. It's salmon in scrambled eggs and reindeer sausage. Amazing local fare. After a great night's sleep and a wonderful homemade breakfast here at the Alaska Heritage House, built over 100 years ago, we're ready to go out and explore the city of Fairbanks, Alaska. To kick off our visit, I met with Fairbanks transportation leaders at their brand new public transit facility. Hey Jackson, tell me about what the MPO does up here.
So we do the transportation planning on behalf of our local governments. We serve 2 cities and a borough government, which is similar to a county, as well as a state DOT. And we plan out all the road improvements throughout the network for Fairbanks and North Pole. And we also do the transit planning for the public transportation service for Fairbanks and North Pole.
We came up here to see it, and it's here. This is awesome.
It is awesome, yeah.
Tell me about it.
So 80% federally funded, almost $30 million, 50,000 plus square feet. Will actually house my entire transit fleet, my paratransit fleet, all of my driver vehicles, all my maintenance equipment in a way that my current facility doesn't and hasn't for 50 plus years. So we're very, very excited. I can't wait to take you inside. You can see how beautiful it is. But for us and our agency of our size, really exciting, but also really grateful to the feds for their investment in our community.
This is awesome. Let's go.
Okay.
Michelle, this is a great new facility you have here. Tell me about it. I mean, this is pretty awesome.
So our current facility, I can't park all my buses and paratransit vehicles inside at the same time. You know, it gets down to 60 below here. So this space, we can park all of our buses, all of our paratransit vehicles, my driver vehicles, even my snow removal vehicles in this space, plus have a little bit of room for growth. So as we hopefully expand service in the future, we'll be able to accommodate that in this new space.
Michelle, a great place to store your vehicles, and here, a great new place to maintain them.
So what's unique about this compared to our current facility is we just have individual bays, and when we pull a bus in and maybe we take it apart and then we're waiting for a part, we then have to take that bus out and it sits in the cold in the winter, which is almost all the time here. And so in this facility, we can actually pull it through and then put another bus in while we're waiting for those parts to come in, and it just should be a lot more efficient, and then of course make our repairs a lot faster. So we're really excited about that. And then it'll pull right through into that warm storage.
Then we visited their current old bus garage and saw their cramped quarters without even enough room to store all their buses indoors, and saw why they were so excited to move into their new administrative and operations facility. Then we headed downtown to see their transit hub. So tell us about the Max Lyon Transit Center.
You know, this is our transit center. It's almost 20 years old. It's really the Fed's first major investment in Fairbanks. You can see it's pretty nice. Our older facility, much smaller, not purpose-built. This is where most all of my 9 lines come to transfer, and where most of the public would come to purchase fares if they're not going to my other facility.
Corey, this is just beautiful. I mean, Alaska's a beautiful state. Tell me about this, all this flora and fauna and where we're at.
We're here at Creamer's Field, and this is a great example of some of the interior life that we have in terms of plants and animals. It's also a really interesting example of the soil conditions that we have under us and the melting nature of some of the permafrost here in the interior. We have discontinuous permafrost, which means that there are areas that are frozen and some that are thawed. Generally on south-facing slopes, a lot of that permafrost is already melted, but in some of these lower areas, there's still pockets of ice. We had a large rain event about 10 years ago now that caused a dramatic biome shift here and that melted a lot of the ice that underlays some of these forests there.
No visit to Fairbanks would be complete without enjoying a fantastic meal of local cuisine at the Alaska Salmon Bake in Pioneer Park. Walking through an old gold mine to get inside, this is one of the oldest family-owned restaurants in Fairbanks, and on any given night, you can see 3 generations of family working in the midnight sun to bring you a true Alaskan dining experience. All right, so when you hit the mother lode, you get it all. You got the prime beef, this special salmon cooked right over the grill in front of you. You got your beer-dipped halibut and cod, and then your sides, and then of course your Alaskan crab legs. Amazing! What a feast! Next, I headed over to meet with the mayor. Mayor Ward, it's exciting to be here. Tell me about how the government works here and your role.
So I'm the Fairbanks North Star Borough Mayor. Borough is similar to a county. Borough in the Fairbanks North Star Borough is about 100,000 people. We're about the size of New Jersey, 7,500 square miles, a pretty big place.
Yeah, that is good. And what's your role in transportation here in the borough?
So the borough runs our public transportation system. We also provide our max transit system and van trans system for folks that need additional help getting around the community.
So tell us about where we're at.
So we are standing outside the Morris-Thompson Cultural and Visitor Center, which is our regional visitor center here in the Fairbanks area. It welcomes over 100,000 people a year to our area, showcases the diversity of our landscapes, our people, answers all sorts of questions for people who may be coming to town who haven't quite planned everything, but it's also a great stop for visitors when they're on the public transportation system. We've got a stop right outside, so as they're planning their excursions, they can come here and check it all out.
Crossing through Fairbanks is the Trans-Alaskan Pipeline. This 4-foot silver pipe travels 800 miles through the state, carrying oil to the nation's refineries. Half the pipeline is elevated like here, with 554 animal crossings. Pioneer Park is an historic village with free admission that features original buildings moved from downtown Fairbanks, museums, the gold rush, and the trains and boats that historically were their public transportation. Tell us about the SS Nenana and its role in Fairbanks history.
It was owned and operated by the Alaskan Railroad. It was built in 1932 and launched in 1933 and serviced 22 villages on the Tana in the Yukon River. And it would take 2 weeks. They'd go and come back to Nenana.
So it really was the public transportation of the era.
Yes, it was. That was how people got, they traveled on the rivers. That's how they got their supplies to the villages. At one time, there were over 300 stern wheelers on the Yukon River. This is the last one left.
All right, Gary, we're on your train, man. Tell us where we're at.
We're at Pioneer Park, Fairbanks, Alaska, riding on number 67. We have a short, about a 15-minute run here for anybody that visits the park.
Yeah.
I'm a museum director at Tanana Valley Railroad, which we have the original steam locomotive from 1905.
We stopped by the University of Alaska's Museum of the North to look even further into the history of the area. Artifacts there include the mummified steppe bison called the Gold and Blue Babe, and great local artwork from ancient ivory carvings to contemporary paintings and sculpture. Stephen, this place is amazing. Tell us about where we're at.
We're at the Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum in Fairbanks, Alaska, Paul.
And Obviously, you've got an amazing lot of vehicles here. I see steam powered, electric powered, stuff that you don't really see a whole lot of today.
We've got it all. We concentrate on the early development of the American car. The theme of this museum is American-made cars built before World War II. So early development of American automobile.
What happened with those other alternate fuels? Do you know, like the steam power car over there?
What happened was the electric starter motor for gasoline cars. Steam cars took a long time to build up a head of steam. They used water like crazy, and electric cars were limited in range and hampered further by the fact that there was no electricity in the countryside, so you couldn't leave town if you wanted to. The automobile that ran on gas was a problem in the early days because you had to crank it to start it. But once they invented the electric starter, that eliminated that big objection, and gas won out at the time. And after about 1912, gas, steam and electric just began to go away.
Scott, this place is awesome, man.
Yeah,
the
thank you.
Malamute Saloon. Tell me some about it.
Well, Esther is established or found out the gold rush to Esther. They found gold here about 1901. And at that point, it was basically the miners in the creeks, you know, panning for gold and digging. Drift miners, they dig holes down to bedrock. And so it turned into Esther City, which was a few thousand people, you know, and a gold rush kind of thing here in Esther. And in the late teens, the company store, so to speak, came in, and that's the FE Gold Company. And they brought the big dredge in and built the facilities here to house the miners. And this used to be the old cat shed for tractors. And then in 1952, a few investors bought it off of them when the camp was dismantled for mining, and turned it into the gold camp that it is today. And at 1952, approximately, that's when the Esther Gold Camp, which birthed the Malamute Saloon.
Dan, this is awesome. Tell us what you guys do here.
Yeah, so I'm with the Great Alaskan Bowl Company. We're one of the last remaining wood bowl mills here in the country, and we make birchwood bowls. They're handcrafted, wood that's locally sourced, and then we have a big Made in Alaska shop where we represent about 250 different Made in Alaska vendors.
I can't tell you how much I truly enjoyed my trip to Fairbanks, Alaska. It's been one of my favorite trips I've ever been on. The warmth of its people and climate in the summer, its natural rugged beauty, and its fantastic local cuisine. Just like its beautiful downtown, Fairbanks exceeded all my expectations. The local waterways shaped this town, and we got to explore and experience it. We're getting ready to board the Discovery 3 to take a 3-hour tour. We know how that turned out last time, but we're going to take a 3-hour tour up the river. We're going to see the mush dogs. We're going to see Alaskan life up close and personal. Come along with us. Skylar, this Riverboat cruise is amazing. Tell us some about it.
Well, honestly, it's it's one of the greatest cruises I've ever been on. I'm very lucky that I'm able to be a part of this, and it's a lot of fun. It's just trying to share everything that I've grown up with here in Alaska, and that the Binkley family has carried on for 74 years now. Their experience with small bush planes flying in and out of the remote parts of our state, with dog mushers up and down, and just kind of the history of the Chena River and Fairbanks in its entirety.
So this has been going on that long, 74 years?
Yep, started in 1950. Captain Jim Binkley and his wife Mary started this whole thing up together, and it's being kept going by their grandchildren and soon their great-grandchildren.
Ho, 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 from the North Pole in Alaska. Yes, there really is a North Pole, Alaska. We're here at Santa Claus House. No visit to Fairbanks will be complete without driving up the road a bit, coming to the North Pole, and visiting the Santa Claus House, where you can experience the spirit of Christmas all year round. Merry Christmas. What an amazing adventure we've had here in Alaska. We entered the state through Anchorage, where we enjoyed a look at their public transportation, the fun and the food there. Then we took the 12-hour train ride up here to Fairbanks, and then all the amazing things that it's Fairbanks. We had such a wonderful time here, looking not only at their public transportation system, but at the warm people, the great food, and the amazing Alaskan culture. Thank you for being with us today in Alaska, the last frontier.